These are 11 impossible structures engineered at the absolute threshold of isolation. No safety nets, just raw defiance. We will go up, pushing past the threshold of normal human breathing into death zone altitude. This is Capanna Regina Margherita, clamped onto a frozen, razor-sharp mountain summit in the Alps. It is the highest building in Europe. Sitting at a staggering 15,000 feet, it is wrapped entirely in copper to act as a massive lightning rod. Because at this height, it is struck by violent, blinding electric storms continuously. Step out on the balcony, and you are staring down a 3,000-foot vertical abyss. This is the Tayun Mountain Taoist Temple in Shaanxi, China. Perched on a needle-thin stone peak nearly 5,500 feet high, its foundation covers less than 6 square meters of space. Built over 400 years ago during the Ming Dynasty, medieval stonemasons didn't use mortar or steel brackets. They carved the mountain peak flat and stacked stone blocks like a real-life game of high-stakes Jenga. Clamped tightly to the rock face, it has survived centuries of brutal alpine windstorms, earthquakes, and lightning strikes. While these ancient builders conquered a warm mountain ridge, our next engineers scaled a frozen 15,000-foot alpine peak to make a home. But first,
this isn't a movie set or a CGI illusion. This is Mont Saint-Michel in Normandy, France. A jaw-dropping medieval fortress village built on a solitary granite island that undergoes a terrifying transformation twice a day. For over 1,000 years, this structural marvel has survived the most extreme tidal shifts in Europe. At low tide, it's surrounded by miles of quicksand. At high tide, the ocean slams in at the speed of a galloping horse, completely cutting it off from the mainland. Medieval masons hauled massive granite blocks across treacherous mudflats just to build a multi-story fortress that relies on the ocean itself as a defensive weapon.
forget your neighborhood corner shop. This is Shiniuzhai, dubbed the world's most inconvenient convenience store. This tiny wooden structure dangles nearly 400 feet over a sheer drop-off. This isn't a prop or a CGI trick. It is a fully functioning oasis for rock climbers. Every single dawn, professional climbing staff scale this brutal rock wall to hand carry fresh water and snacks up the cliffside. Hanging a wooden box on a cliffside for a box of chips is pure madness. In northern Italy, a mountain wall splits open to reveal a hidden sanctuary. The San Colombano Hermitage is a stone living complex carved completely inside a natural horizontal cave opening, halfway up a sheer 400-foot cliff face. The white stone walls of the building act as a false teeth system inside the mountain's mouth. Built in the year 1319 by monks seeking absolute isolation, it requires navigating a terrifying path of stone steps cut directly into the exposed rock. It's a masterclass in using natural earth cavities to completely hide human architecture from the world. Now, this is the Red Cloud Golden Summit on Mount Fanjing, a colossal vertical stone finger rising thousands of feet in the air, with an upper half that is completely split open by a sheer geological rift. To conquer this void, Ming Dynasty builders scaled a brutal 70-degree vertical precipice to build two entirely separate twin temples on each isolated rock spike. They dedicated one side to the present Buddha and the other to the future. Then they engineered a stone sky bridge crossing directly over the terrifying chasm below to connect them. It stands as an absolute masterclass in extreme mountain architecture, completely exposed to raging alpine storms. Suspending twin sanctuaries over a vertical mountain rift is pure genius. But what if the house is the mountain? Welcome to the Fafé Mountains of Portugal, where you'll find Casa do Penedo, the stone house. This isn't concrete or brick. A brilliant builder spotted 4 colossal natural granite boulders sitting on a hillside and decided to use them as the actual walls, floor, and ceiling of a home. It looks entirely prehistoric, like something carved out of the earth before history began. Yet, it features bulletproof windows and a shingled roof. It's a perfect fusion of raw, ancient geology and human design. Next, we go vertical. Deep in a forest valley in Georgia, a natural limestone monolith shoots 130 feet straight into the sky like a giant stone needle. This is the Katskhi Pillar, and on its completely flat summit sits a tiny stone hermitage. For over 20 years, a single monk lived up there in absolute crushing silence. The only way up or down? A single iron ladder bolted directly into the vertical cliff face. It's called the Stairway to Heaven. One loose grip, one gust of wind, and it's over. We go higher, into death zone altitude, clamped onto a suffocatingly narrow ledge of Switzerland's brutal Matterhorn Mountain sits the Solvay Hut. You are looking at a tiny wooden emergency refuge sitting 13,133 feet above sea level. It is surrounded by sub-zero winds, sheer vertical drop-offs, and blinding snow. Every single piece of wood and steel had to be hauled up this deadly mountain by a primitive cable railway in 1915. It isn't a home for luxury. It's a tiny wooden box between life and freezing to death for elite climbers trapped by the mountain.
In Serbia, right in the middle of the raging Drina River, a tiny wooden cabin balances on a jagged tooth of rock. Since 1968, this impossible little sanctuary has stood its ground. It wasn't built by a billionaire. It was hammered together by a group of swimmers who just wanted a place to rest. Every year, massive, destructive floods tear through this valley, submerging the rock entirely. Yet, through clever engineering gaps that let the water crash through the base rather than knocking it down, it survives.
Now, let's look at pure, massive scale. In Greece, giant sandstone pillars shoot out of the plains of Thessaly like stone skyscrapers. Perched on top of these impossible summits are the Meteora Monasteries. Historically, there were no stairs, no paths. The only way to get people, stone, or food up to these sky castles was inside hand-woven rope nets pulled up by a manual wooden crane. The monks built them here in the 14th century to escape political chaos and invading armies below. It is heavy, brutalist stone warfare architecture suspended in the clouds. Deep in the remote mountains of Fujian, China, sits an architectural stunt. This is Fangguangyan, an entire multi-story temple hidden completely inside a colossal 300-meter cave cliffside. Look closely at the base. This massive structure isn't built on solid ground. It has hung over a terrifying abyss for over 1,000 years, balanced entirely on a fragile web of thin wooden rods driven straight into the bare rock face. It defies gravity, engineering logic, and time.